Gymnastics, one in which the hammer and sickle.
Too alive to believe, even for a heartbeat, that some things may be impossible. That a goal can never exceed the imagination's reach. Here, the lesson is simple and clearly understood. The fire that lights every champion's eye was first kindled in a child's heart. Each of these ladies has traveled that path, from child to champion, worn Olympic gold and world championship crowns. Today marks a crossroad, a gentle turn toward new dreams, or the next serious step on that well-traveled road. From Lowell, Massachusetts, this is an ERA Real Estate Championship Series event. The Women's Professional Gymnastics Championship. And hello, everyone. Welcome to Songus Arena. Bill McAtee, along with Olympic gold medalist Julianne McNamara and Peter Vidmar. It's good to have you with us today. Tremendous array of gymnastic talent, world champions, Olympic gold medalists. And really, as we look ahead, Julianne, to Sydney in the year 2000, these young women have some decisions to make.
Well, it really is a crucial time in a sport like gymnastics. The 2-year mark heading toward the Olympic Games in 2000 is a decision-making time. You have to decide if you're going to make the commitment and have enough time to prepare for the Games. Shannon Miller is still keeping the door open. Dominique Dawes is keeping the door open. She's training seriously to try to earn a spot at the Goodwill Games. Dominique Moceanu, she has made her decision. She wants to compete in the Games in 2000. She's young enough at 16. She's talented enough. And I think the real reason behind it, I think she feels like she has a lot more left inside and she wants to go for an individual medal. And
Peter, certainly one of the interesting stories to follow, Kim Zmeskal back in competition for the first time since the '92 Olympics in Barcelona.
Yeah, that's a long retirement. Kim was the first ever U.S. World All-Around Champion at the 1991 World Championships, and then everybody expected her to take home that gold medal in the All-Around in 1992. It didn't happen. She's 22 years old. She's going to make one more chance at a big comeback here. She's got a great reputation in the sport. She's a great competitor, but she's got to really show that strength now in this arena. This is a great meet to start.
All right, Peter, thank you very much. Here's a look at our 8 competitors. That includes Amy Chow, a member of the 1996 Olympic gold medal team. And let's go now to the 4th member of our broadcast team, Andrea Joyce, who's with Kim Zmeskal's new coach.
Thanks, Bill. I'm with Mary Lee Tracy, Kim Zmeskal's coach, and the woman who probably has watched Kim's comeback efforts closer than anyone. Obviously, this isn't the Olympics or a world championship, but how important is this event for Kim to gauge where she is?
This is an important event for Kim because it's a competition, and some of these kids are ones that she competed with. Some are brand new. And this is an event for her to see, do I really, really want to do this again? Can I still handle the competition pressure, and is it still fun?
What went through your mind when you found out she wanted to come back and she wanted to work with you?
I was a little bit shocked. She came back just to coach at the beginning, and then she realized there was still something in her heart, and she still wanted to do gymnastics. And so first I had to step back because I've always looked up to Kim and idoled and respected her work ethic and ability, and now she wants me to coach her. And then I realized she's just a gymnast wanting to reach her goals, and I'm going to help her.
She's still got the heart and the mind of a champion, so she's off to a good start.
Yes, her heart and her drive is what's going to get her there.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bella Caroli, Kim Zmeskal's longtime coach, but now coached by Mary Lee Tracy. Here's a look at the format. 2 days of competition, NCAA rules. Day 1 scores account for 40%. The scores tomorrow, 60%. And, of course, the competitor with the highest 2-day total will win the event. And up first on the vault, Amy Chow.
And because of the NCAA rules, you're probably going to see higher scores than you normally would, say, in the Olympic Games. The requirements are a little easier.
19-year-old, currently a pre-med student at Stanford.
Hike front with a half. An excellent vault. Very difficult. It's valued at a 10.0. And the only real problem problem on that vault is she has a slight leg separation on the pre-flight. Watch right there. But good pop off the horse and a great landing.
So Amy awaits her marks in her first vault. There it is, 9.85 for Amy Chow.
And that's a good start for Amy. Once again, these scoring rules make it easier for her to score a 9.85. Normally in the Olympic Games, she couldn't score that high, even if she did the vault perfectly, because it has a lower value.
Same vault, high front with a half twist. Much better vault.
She had a lot more distance on this vault, was able to get a little more power off of the horse. Still that separation in the legs, but it's a good vault for her to land because as she does the half turn, she can see the ground very early, enabling her to hopefully stick that landing when she does these vaults. Once again, as she goes over the top, she can see the ground right about there, and it makes it easier for her to zero in on the ground.
And some congratulatory hugs for Amy Chow as she awaits her second marks.
And the score for Amy Chow, second vault, 9.9.
And there it is, a 9.9 for Amy Chow on her second vault. And up next, the 18-year-old from Russia, Yevgenia Roshina.
She was a member of the 94 World Championship team for Russia that won a bronze medal. She'll actually tumble onto the board. Yurchenko vault half, front out in a layout position.
Little step on the landing, but you can see she really trains those landings. When you see in the replay, as she does the layout half front, her shoulders are very high, her arms are extended as she comes out of the half. Here she goes, does the half into the front. Look at those arms, ready for a good landing, but she was just a little bit too far back and had to take that step. Once again, good body position all around, just had to take that little step.
And the mark for Roshina.
And the score for Yevgenia's first vault, 9.6.
9.6.
And now she's thinking about that landing because if she can land this vault, she knows she can score higher. Good fast approach. Again, hops on the landing. That will cost her a few tenths.
She definitely had more power, though, on that vault. Got a little bit more distance. I think that's another reason why her score wasn't so high. Good overview shot. Good form all around. Too much rotation that time. Kind of overcompensated for a step backwards in the last vault. Just too much rotation. Has to take that hop forward.
And the score for Yevgenia's second vault, 9.65.
So a slight improvement, 9.65 for Roshina. And there's Shannon Miller, the most decorated American gymnast of all time, male or female. And we'll see her first vault when we come back. The Tsongas Arena in Lowell, Massachusetts for the ERA Real Estate Women's Professional Gymnastics Championship. And up next on the vault, Amanda Borden, another member of the United States 96 gold medal Olympic team. And Amanda says this is her next to last competition. She'll retire after the World Professional Championships, which will air next week here on CBS.
Handspring front tuck. Big step on the landing. Not a very difficult vault. It's actually only valued at 9.8, so even if she performs it perfectly, a 9.8 is the highest she could score. She has good form on it. She gives nice tight legs, good pop off the horse, but a huge giant step. She gets good push. Look at her shoulders pop off the horse.
And Julianne, knowing this is her next to last competition, her difficulty really is not way up there, and she probably doesn't have as much motivation to train the super difficult skills she performed, for example, in Atlanta. But still, she's performing what she does well.
9.6 the score as the big step does cost her for her second vault.
Come on. She's thinking about zoning in on the landing.
Nailed it that time.
Much better. Had a clear picture of what she had to do. After taking that huge step, she knew she had to open up sooner so the ground would come up just right. And this time she finally did it.
Such a great smile, always such a positive person. She goes around encouraging all the other competitors. And let's take another look at that vault.
Although the difficulty's not there in this vault, it's very hard to stick a forward landing. She opens up perfectly and her hips are in perfect position. Good leg drive. Watch, she'll open out like she almost sees the landing.
And the mark, a 9.70, so that will slide her into second place, currently behind Amy Chow. Shannon Miller is next, and she has changed so much from that little girl who dominated gymnastics through much of the 1990s. She won 5 medals at the 92 Olympics, including the silver and the all-round. 4 years later, she won 2 golds in Atlanta and back-to-back world championships in between.
And she will perform the same vault we saw Roshina perform. She tumbles onto the board. She'll half turn off the horse and do a layout front.
And you could see much more power and much more explosiveness relative to Roshina on that vault. Shannon had a very fast run approaching the horse.
And because she twists early off the horse, it's valued at a 10. Had she done a back layout with a half, it would be a lower value.
Good height off the horse. Little hop forward. She's going to have to zero in better on the landing by somehow getting more explosion off the horse and not rotate too much. Let's see if she can do it.
9.9 on her first vault.
It's important to get good speed so she can explode off the horse. Beautiful vault.
Much better on the landing. Didn't quite nail it as a stick, but the judges might give it to her. Let's see. She had more height. She had more distance.
Steve Nuno, her coach. There's a hug from Amanda Borden. Take another look.
She uses her speed and momentum to blast off of the horse. Great height, perfect form in the air, good distance.
Has to be higher than a 9.9. It was better.
And the score for Shannon Miller's second vault, 10.
Well, that got her attention. A perfect 10 in the vault for Shannon Miller. And Peter, she said she's considering competing in the year 2000. How realistic is that goal?
Well, I don't think there's any question that she knows what it takes. She's been there twice before. She's won at every level. And as you take a look at this vault, you can see she has the skills. Certainly she'll have to increase some of the difficulty on an event like this with the new scoring rules. But Shannon, if she has the drive, I think that you should never count her out. She's an incredible athlete.
And Shannon Miller is with Andrea Joyce.
Shannon, first competition in a while, and you guys did not perform vault on the tour last fall. So how do you come out here and do a 10?
I don't know. I'm just here to have a good time, and I think that's what's really helping. You know, we're out here having fun, and it really comes through on our events.
How much does that help you, though, when you start out a competition so strong?
Well, it's good and it's bad, because, I mean, I started on a high note, and I love it, but I have to remember to carry it through the rest of the 3 events, too.
All right, good luck.
Shannon Miller, who moves into first place in the vault after the perfect score. And up next, Dominique Moscianu, who has already committed to Sydney in 2000. So this competition really marks the beginning of that journey. Moscianu, of course, another member of America's 96 Olympic gold medal team.
And she vaults another vault from the Yurchenko family.
She'll actually do a handspring half on the vault, then front off in a pike position. Little knee bend before the landing and a little hop on the landing.
Well, she didn't have the kind of Olympic experience that she hoped for, so since then she's been through a series of coaches trying to find someone to replace Bella Caroli. Currently her coach is Umanita Muchenko. There's Bella Caroli. Seems to be everywhere in gymnastics. Wherever there's an event, there's Bella working on. And Oceana, her second vault. Well, she was the all-round national champion in 1995. Her score on the first vault, 9.70.
And she's certainly going to have to improve on this landing. She was off to one side, took a little hop and step, and that's where she's going to get some extra tense if she can do it.
She needs to be more aggressive. She was a little tentative on the first vault. Much better vault. Again, a little bit of an early leg bend.
And yet it seemed like she almost had to bend her legs just to get that landing. If she had a little bit more height, she probably could have kept her legs straighter longer. As she comes over the top, she knows where the ground is and has to bend her legs a little bit. And it worked for her, though. Once again, little bend right there. And yet it was enough to help her stick the landing.
Meanwhile, Bella looking on. He's no longer coaching Dominique, but doesn't keep him from being involved in her routine. Well done, says Bella. And now the mark for Dominique Moceanu. 9.75, so an improvement on the first vault. And Kim Zmeskal takes the first step in her comeback when we return to Tsongas Arena after these messages. In this sport, 4 years is a lifetime. Yet it really was such a short time ago. On a summer's night in '94, Dominique Dawes won every event at the national championships. In '96, she was a part of America's Olympic gold medal team, winning an individual bronze medal in the floor exercise along the way. Today, she's a college student with a run on Broadway already under her belt. Dawes, though, is still focused on her gymnastics future.
Well, I still love the sport, and I feel like I can get better. I'm adding new tricks in, so I feel like once you can still improve, why give it up? So that's why I'm still going after it.
Dominique became involved in gymnastics when she was 6 years old. She loved to flip around the house over furniture and swinging from doorways. And Dominique says her parents thought it would be a good idea to put her in the gym so she wouldn't ruin things in the house. They took her to Hills Gymnastics in Gaithersburg, Maryland. She's been training there ever since.
Big vault, big step on the landing, pulls her off to the side. But a very difficult vault. She actually does 1.5 twists in the air. Another Yurchenko vault. She round off onto the horse. Now watch, she has to twist 1.5 times in the air.
This is another example, though, of why Dominique is still really in the hunt for serious gymnastics. She does not have to do this vault. 1.5 twists. A half twist would have given her the same difficulty, but she chose to really go for it. I think this means that she's serious about her training.
So 9.60, and Dominique has to be thinking clearly she can improve on that.
Talk about a great athlete. She is a natural. She's very powerful. She's always taken a lot of risks. Same vault, a better landing, not a perfect landing.
Well, I still admire the fact that she went for that vault. She's really doing really tough gymnastics here by doing this. 1.5 twists. Much better on the landing. Still leaning back too much. Had to take those steps. But she's really going for it here.
for Dominique Dawes. 9.80. Kim Zymesco, now 22 years old. She has not been in a competition of this caliber in almost 6 years. And when she launches herself down the runway, she hopes it's the beginning of a sprint that takes her all the way to the Olympics in 2000. How's that for pressure?
And she's another very powerful gymnast. This has always been one of her best events. Yurchenko full. Very nice vault.
You waited with your head, and that was really good, but keep your butt tight. All right, good job.
Mary Lee Tracy, her new coach, and there you see in the red jacket, Bella Caroli, her former coach.
The amazing thing about this vault is how early she twists off the horse. It's only because she is so strong that she's able to rotate fast enough and execute a beautiful vault. Watch how early she twists. Most gymnasts would not be able to do the vault that way.
And the score, 9.80.
Come on, Kim. Block.
And I'll tell you, a 9.8 after 6 years of no major competition. She's really in good shape. What's amazing is that she does this vault the way she did it just 6 years ago at her peak. Really no difference. A different body doing the vault. She's matured. She's gotten taller.
Squeeze.
Wow.
Yes!
Just a great vault. That's a 9.9 vault. That's the highest score she can get, and she may get it here.
That was the old time, right, Bella?
Well, you heard Mary Lee Tracy say to Bella Caroli, just like the old times, and it was an outstanding vault from Kim Zymesco. A hug from Amanda Borden. She trains with Amanda, among others, in Cincinnati. Let's take another look.
And it's got to be a great feeling. She still has the dynamic pop off the horse, great distance, perfect landing.
She is so quick and so powerful that when she finishes the twist, she can see the ground very early right there. It makes it easier for her to come in and land.
Now let's watch this through the eyes of Mary Lee Tracy.
Strong. Come on, be strong. Squeeze. Squeeze. Yes!
Boy, those eyes taking everything in, and there's a smile from Kim. There's the mark. 9.90. That's the maximum available for Kim Zymesco, and she got it. Svetlana Bakhtina, the 17-year-old from Russia, a member of Russia's silver medal team at last year's World Championship.
She'll vault a handspring pike front vault. Pretty decent vault. Again, not a real difficult vault. Although under these rules, it is valued at a 9.9. We saw Amanda Borden vault a tuck front. She increases the difficulty slightly by keeping her legs straight, bending at the hips in a piked position.
And the score? A 9.8. This, by the way, is Svetlana's first trip to the United States. And she is set for her second vault.
Again, a pike front vault. The landing wasn't there. She actually will score lower on that vault. It was a weaker vault. So I'm sure she will take the 9.8.
And the score for the second vault is a 9.75. So for Svetlana Bakhtina, the 9.8 will be her score. So here's how things stand after one rotation. Shannon Miller, the perfect mark, 10.0. Then Zymesco and Chow at 9.9. And Kim Zymesco is with Andrea Joyce.
Kim, you haven't competed in quite a long time, but it almost looks like you never left.
Oh,
I hope so. I mean, it's weird because I'm sitting down there and I'm trying to remember the feelings and trying to make it feel natural, but it's a little different, you know, with the break.
Well, you broke into a huge grin after that second vault. What did it mean to you to be able to get this first event out of the way? Are you a little bit relieved?
Yeah, it's always the first event. You never know which direction, you know, the competition is going to go in, and you have a little bit more adrenaline, and so it's always nice to, you know, get a good one out to start with.
Well, you did. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
Meanwhile, Shannon Miller getting ready for our next event, the uneven bars. That's coming up after this message and a word from your local station.
Tall, swing it, up on the front, and the half front. Okay?
Shannon Miller with her longtime coach Steve Nuno. The uneven bars is coming up. And Julianne, who should we be watching?
Well, Shannon Miller is great on this event. She's got a lot of difficulty. Amy Chow, the silver medalist in '96 in Atlanta. Some feel she should have won the gold medal. Dominique Dawes is a very exciting performer, very consistent. She is a two-time national champion on this event, '94 and '96.
Julianne, of course, the gold medalist in the uneven bars in Los Angeles at the Olympic Games. Amanda Borden will be up first. She's currently in 7th place. And she's headed off to Arizona State, where she'll help coach the gymnastics team there next year.
Amanda is a very consistent and clean performer. Sets up here. She actually was supposed to go the other way. Does a counter swing that will be a deduction. Here's a Jaeger flip. Release moves are the most difficult. She has another release here to Tkachev. The blind release move. Dismount toe on front with her hash.
And it's interesting, Julianne, how much uneven bars is becoming more and more like the men's horizontal bar. In fact, sometimes I hear talk about just getting rid of the lower bar because they do so few skills now on the lower bar.
It's really become just a token thing because it is a requirement. You have to go down to the low bar.
And yet all the big tricks are done on the high bar. There's her blind change, and here's that Jaeger salto. First done by a German gymnast named Jaeger on the horizontal bar. A male gymnast did that first. Here's a good close-up view. Does that pike front straddle flip, catches the bar.
And the score for 20-year-old Amanda Borden.
And the score for Amanda Borden,
9.80, a total of 19.50 after the first 2 rotations. And now Shannon Miller came in first place after the vault, won a gold medal in the uneven bars at the '93 World Championships.
We'll also see Shannon perform 2 release moves. Sets up here. Giant hop right into a ginger. Another to Tkachev. And there's her requirement on the low bar. Toe on front with a half.
Boy, it'll be difficult to see if anybody can catch up to her after these 2 events, because that was a great routine. She scored very, very high on that. Once again, just like men's high bar, very nice, fast giant. Gets a lot of power here for that full over the top. Catches the bar right into that Ganger. Once again, named after a German gymnast named Ganger, a male gymnast that did it first on the high bar. Yet it's more difficult on the uneven bars to do these skills because you have that low bar to deal with. Look at this, that hop over the top. Comes down to catch the bar. Nice sequence.
Watch how early she kicks out on her half and zeroes in on the landing.
Steve, you know, he's not into it at all. Look at that. Yes, he says. Now, the mark for Shannon Miller.
10.0.
Perfect again. A 10 in the balls, and now a 10 in the uneven ball.
Boy, how do the other gymnasts feel knowing that no matter what they do, they can't overtake Shannon? It's only been 2 events so far.
And Dominique Moceanu will have to follow that. 6th place after the vault.
Dominique has improved a lot on this event. This has not always been her best event, but she's working on some new skills, trying to add difficulty and adjust to her height. She's grown 5 inches in the last year. Swinging very well so far. Ginger release move. Oh, touched her feet down on the mat. That will be a pretty large deduction. She has a new dismount. Double layout. A great dismount, a little low on the landing.
You know, she's got these bobbles and made some mistakes, but she really shouldn't be too disappointed because this is the kind of gymnastics she needs to do to be right up there with the rest of the best in the world. There's her flyaway half turn, the Ganger. Shoots over the bar. It looks like her feet touch the ground, and that is a deduction. You can see if her body twisted at that point. Here's that Ganger, the half over the bar. Let's watch her feet. Yeah, that's a big deduction.
She has to get a lot of power into this dismount. She has great body position, but you can see her head's down a little bit, and it pulls her forward.
Must be so difficult to handle a 5-inch growth spurt in the last 12 months. So many adjustments. So there's the score, 9.80, 19.55 for Dominique Moceanu after 2 events. Dominique Dawes will be next. She was tied for 4th after the vault.
This is an event where Dominique can pick up some ground. She does some interesting combinations. The transition of a high bar. Nice high 3-hip reverse hex. Now she'll do some giant full work right into 1.5 twists. Setting up for her dismount, full in, back out. That should score high.
What I really like is how varied this routine is. She doesn't just do release moves, or just do the single hand work with the turns on top of the bar. There's a lot of different skills and combines it all in the routine. Here's a good view of her hand placement. Does her giant full pirouette over the bar, then does a 1.5 turn. But she also has all the other big skills in her release moves and her dismount. Nice balanced routine.
And a very difficult dismount. She'll do a full twist on the first flip. Great landing.
And the score now for Dominique Dawes. 9.95, so that puts her in 2nd place behind Shannon Miller. Kim Zmeskal is next. The last time Kim did a bar routine in competition was 1992 in Barcelona. All that changes when we come back.
Toes up. Tell yourself, toes up. And see the bar.
Arena, another stop on the ERA Real Estate Championship Series. This is the Women's Professional Gymnastics Championship, and let's go now to Andrea Joyce.
Perhaps the most intriguing story of this competition is Kim Zmeskal's attempted comeback. She really hasn't competed since the 1992 Olympics, and now for the young woman who made gymnastics history at the tender age of 15, it is a long road back. This is the real world of gymnastics. No huge arenas washed with TV lights, no screaming fans, just work and sweat. Ceaseless training that can seem brutal when measured against other sports. This is Kim Zmeskal's home.
See it? Real visual and patient. Get it? Yep.
22 years old, she's a woman now.
Remember to keep your feet back here? Like that was a really good one, but you're rushing it. Catch it. It's like a similar...
Trying to make her body remember what was once routine.
Lay upside down first. Way back. Good effort. Gotta get this down. If it worked once, can it work again? You gotta do the same thing again.
I feel Kim's need to come back is that she has some form of unfinished business. I don't really think it means winning anything because she's won almost everything. She's been to an Olympic Games. She's been world champion X number of times. There's just some unfinished gymnastics business with her, and I think that's between her and gymnastics.
Kim and gymnastics. It's a relationship that began almost the moment she was born. In 1991, with legendary coach Bella Caroli, Kim became America's first world champion.
Everything was so easy. Like, I'd just go from meet to meet. I would just be prepared for one after the other. And so Barcelona was kind of the same way. It was just the next big meet, except for there was all the pressure from everybody else and from myself. And for myself thinking, this is your very last competition. You don't want to have anything to do with gymnastics afterwards, so make it your best one.
Imagine being called the next Mary Lou, America's best hope for gold. Imagine putting that weight on a 16-year-old's shoulders. In the first event, in her first Olympic Games, the burden proved too much. Some might say it's yet to be removed.
After 92, I had a lot of growing up to do, a lot of, thinking that I had to do as far as, like, what direction do I want to take in my life. And, for a part of the while, I thought maybe the answer is to get away from the sport and, just try to be a normal person and stuff. But, it never completely made me happy.
Today, this is what makes the Zmeskal smile. The back-breaking race to recapture the joy of her sport.
I know that there are tons of girls around the country that are training for the same, goals that I am. And I've been very fortunate to have reached those goals once in my life. If I can somehow make it there again, then I would be ecstatic about it. But at the same time, I'm still enjoying this day to day, and that's what has to be the most important thing for me right now.
Like most anything of value, the object of our strongest desire never comes easy.
Part of me wishes I could be like, the upcoming juniors and the girls that are just now going senior and stuff. They don't have anybody watching over them, anybody, taking anything they do critically. Whereas, I'm kind of in a position more of where people are going to compare with, what I was, 5, 6 years ago. I can take it as, something positive or something negative, and I choose to take it in a positive way where, I've been really fortunate that people have enjoyed watching me do gymnastics, and, hopefully I'll have them on my side right now.
So Kim Zmeskal hopes for the best, training day after day with girls nearly half her age, teenagers who remember sitting in their homes, watching their TVs almost a decade ago, wishing that someday they might be the next Kim Zmeskal.
I think the people that don't try are the ones that lose the most. I have nothing to lose right now. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. not to myself. I just really enjoy training. I really enjoy performing, and I still like competing.
Success is often contrary in bestowing its reward.
That's right. Good job.
But sometimes
Good job. That was a great one.
it touches those who are willing to dream.
I'm 22 years old. I've been very, very fortunate that my body is, held up the way it has, and so I'm going to take advantage of, what God's given me.
Kim Zmeskal trying to find the form that made her one of the best gymnasts in the world.
And Bill, this is a great lesson for young athletes that are watching Kim right now, to know that the reason to be involved in a sport is the process, to love the training and love what you're going through, even though it's difficult.
All right, Kim, let's go. You can do it.
And I think for Kim, it's going to be a tougher road than it would for somebody like Shannon Miller. She's had a lot of time off, and the sport is always growing and changing. However, she has really matured. It's impressive to see her attitude and her heart in this. And she still is a very talented athlete. This has always been Kim's weakest event. She's got to hit the Ginger release move right here. And that's big for her. That's the one that she was having all the problems with in training. Come on. Tkachev. And now she's setting up for her dismount. She waters it down slightly. She does it in a tuck position. And this is a huge step for Kim. This has always been a tough event for her. To get through this is a feat.
Big step. Big, huge step. Good job.
And I'll tell you, really, the score is almost irrelevant. What matters is that Kim made it through an uneven bar routine. Over time, she'll have to increase the difficulty, but she's off to a great start in her comeback here.
Like some simple little things are huge mile markers. That was a huge one.
And here's her release move. This is the one that she had a trouble on. Giant into that Ganger. This is a big confidence boost for her to be able to hit this routine. Little mistakes here and there, but it really doesn't matter that much. What matters is that she made it through a complete performance under some pressure. Now it's time to go back into the gym later and pick up where she left off. Maybe add some difficulty. This is great.
And the expression, I suspect, a mixture of relief and satisfaction after such a long layoff for Kim Zmeskal. And we're ready now with her score.
Okay, my techniques are like coming exactly what
9.70 for Kim Zmeskal. A solid score in the uneven bars. And we'll be back with more of the Women's Professional Gymnastics Championship in a moment. Meanwhile, here's your overall leader, Shannon Miller. 2 perfect 10s in the vault and a few moments ago in the uneven bars.
Could she have a 40 today? Might be tough, but you never know with her.
And our next competitor on the uneven bars from Russia, Svetlana Bakhtina.
And she still has a chance to really move up in the Russian team. She's been there in the big team competitions, needs to make a name for herself now individually.
She has some very innovative moves on this event. A big release move. The giant full. There's a Jaeger flip in a tight position, normally performed in a straddle position. The routine must consist of 10 elements. They must use the low bars. Double front dismount.
And that's a difficult dismount to land doing that double front because you really can't see the ground till it comes up on her.
So the uneven bars is not considered Bakhtina's best event. She really does excel in the balance beam, but a solid routine.
Watch her hand placement. She'll pirouette on the bar, change her hand direction, and she'll half turn again, setting up for her release move. Watch her drive her heels to get the height above the bar.
And this dismount is kind of harder to land because she can't see the ground. She'll do a double front. 1, 2, open up, and hope the ground's there, because it's really difficult to see. Not too bad of a landing, but she'll still lose some points there.
And the score for Svetlana Bakhtina. 9.80, so that will move her into a tie with Kim Zmesko after 2 rotations. And our final competitor on the uneven bars, Amy Chow. She was tied for second with Zmesko after the vault. She is the reigning Olympic silver medalist in this event.
And she's incredible on this event. She begins with some stalder work, which you don't see a lot of anymore. It's very difficult. Again, taken from the men's high bar. Right into a back stalder transition to the high bar. Another stalder into a Jaeger flip. She's very good form, good toe point, good execution. Here's her dismount, full twist. A great performance. The most difficulty that we've seen today.
And it's interesting, Julianne, that she's doing so well here, and she's the one that probably has not made the decision to go on to Sydney. She's in school at Stanford and pre-med. She has other plans with her life, and really has not made that decision to go on. Yet she's still very consistent. She says she's not really putting in the hours that she did either, but she looks pretty good.
Here's that front stalder move. Extremely difficult, and she'll full turn out of it into another front stalder. Now she'll reverse grips and do it backwards.
And she does a very nice Jaeger salto release move. She does it with one of her stalters to a blind change, that half turn over the top. Watch her drive her heels, gets her some height, catches it just in the right spot. Right back down to the low bar.
She can actually twist this dismount with 2 twists. It's still difficult with only 1 twist, as you see there.
An honor student in high school with a perfect 4.0 grade point average, a world-class gymnast and a prodigy on the piano as well. And there's her score, 9.95, and that moves her into sole possession of second place. And here's a look at the overall standings. Shannon Miller has been perfect. There's Amy Chow, Dominique Dawes in third, and Zmesko and Bakhtina share fourth. And now let's go over to Andrea Joyce.
A perfect start to this competition for Shannon Miller, a 10 on the vault, a 10 on the uneven bars. Last year, you had to come from behind to win this competition. It doesn't look like you're going to have to do that here.
Oh, the meet's not over yet. It's only been 2 events, so I'm just hoping to kind of continue and keep hitting my events.
So what do you do? What do you tell yourself to keep the momentum going?
Mostly, it doesn't really matter what happened in the past, whether it's good or bad. I just kind of look to the next event and try and focus on that.
We will look forward to seeing you in the next event. Congratulations.
Thank you, Andrea. When we come back, the pressure of the balance beam.
She knows what she needs to do to win, and she's doing it. Kim Zmesko, I think she'd be happy just to be here in a serious gymnastics competition. She's not only doing that, she is throwing hard skills. She's doing world-class gymnastics.
And Peter, watching the first 2 disciplines, it's almost as if we can tell the competitors who are performing with the future in mind.
Well, we know that Dominique Moceanu, of course, wants to go all the way to Sydney. She's doing very difficult gymnastics, making a couple little mistakes here and there, but she's still ready for her future. She knows what she has to do. Dominique Dawes has a big meet coming up very soon. She's throwing all of her big tricks, and she knows that she could have done something easier, got a better score, but she still went for the really hard stuff. I admire that. She knows what she's doing, getting ready for the Goodwill Games as well.
Well, here are the current overall standings. And remember, today's scores make up 40% of the 2-day total. Day 2 scores, of course, 60%. You can see the second day of competition tomorrow at 1 Eastern time right here on CBS. Up first on the balance beam, Dominique Moceanu, currently in 6th place, and she won a silver medal in the balance beam at the 1995 World Championships.
And this is a great event for Dominique. She really moves well on this event. She has a lot of difficulty. Watch her mount. Front flip. Right into a beat jump. A little tiny bobble, but that is a very difficult mount. And here's her big sequence. She needs to hit this. Lay out immediate pike back. Very well done. Nice jump combination, but again, those little bobbles add up to deductions. Required full turn. She's going to do a punch front now on the beam. Immediate jump to a fish flop. Even at a very young age, Dominique was very solid on this event. It's what we call the psych event in gymnastics. Up there on only 4 inches. She's setting up for her dismount. Tuck double back. Good dismount.
Main thing, Julianne, is just those little bobbles. That's where she's losing those little tenths here and there, and it's going to add up. She really probably won't get as high a score as she could just because of little bobbles. Making the skills. Here's her front flip, lands, and a little bit off. Might lose a tenth or a half a tenth. Another tumbling sequence. Back handspring, back layout, right back. That was done very well. This is where she lost some precious tenths again. Full turn, and right there, just has to regroup, check herself a little bit, and lose some tenths. Finally, double back. Just about solid on the landing, but has to take a little bobble there. And so, really, she hits all of the big tricks, but just those little tiny tenths are going to just eat away at her score.
And a 9.70 for Dominique Moceanu. And up next, Dominique Dawes in 3rd place after 2 rotations.
Always takes a lot of risk on this event. And most of the time you'll see the big tumbling sequence right at the beginning of the routine. They want to get it over with. Here's hers right here. Layout, immediate layout. And that's a huge deduction, 0.5 of a point. Something you don't see very often from Dominique. Double turn. That's extremely difficult. Here's her punch front. Again, her foot flip. That, I don't think I've ever seen her fall.
That is not like her. I don't think I've ever seen her fall twice.
Fall once.
Yeah, this is really, it's big news to see Dominique Dawes fall off a beam twice. I think the neat thing, though, is that she still is going for difficult skills. I think this is a kind of competition that she's using for her future, and it's nice to see that she hasn't decided to just take it easy and see if she can win by doing easier skills.
But it's cost her today. She's basically out of the competition for today. Big dismount, 2 back handsprings, double back dismount, again, goes for it.
And remember, this is a 2-time national champion in this discipline. Gives you some idea of how difficult it is on the beam.
Let's see if we can see where the mistake came. She wants to keep her hips and shoulders completely square. As she steps down.
Oh, you could just see how her right foot was on the right side of that beam. Just didn't quite keep it on there.
Here's another angle. So difficult, though. Layout.
Oh, too bad.
There's a jump, immediate punch front, and again, her shoulder drops and her left foot slips off.
And we talked about, if she just kept her shoulder up, that she'd be able to make it. But it's really hard to keep steady on an event like this.
Disappointing 8.80, and we'll be back with more from Lowell, Massachusetts in a moment. At Tsongas Arena, where there is still a buzz over the difficulties that Dominique Dawes had in her balance beam routine. An 8.80, and Dominique is with Andrea Joyce.
Dominique, a little trouble on the beam. Take us through what happened.
Well, beam is definitely one of my favorite events, and it's actually been going well in training, so I'm definitely disappointed, but I know I have another shot tomorrow and to get it more consistent for my future meet.
And you're also preparing for these big events down the road. Is there a positive to this? Kind of get the kinks worked out now?
Yeah, the two things that I did fall on were actually, the first series actually wasn't that new for me, but the front combination was, and it's worth a great deal, so I hope to get that more consistent, and I'll be hitting it further down the road, hopefully tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Andrea. Up next, Kim Zmeskal. She was tied for 4th coming into this rotation. And remember, this is the event that really ended her Olympic dream back in '92 as she fell on her very first tumbling pass, and you wonder if that is in the back of her mind somewhere.
Well, I think she's been able to put at least that behind her, but this is a very important event. As Julianne says, this is the pressure event in women's gymnastics.
Ironically, it has always been one of Kim's best events, which was what was so shocking in Barcelona on the first event. 2 layout backflips. Very well done.
Come on, Kim. Good posture. Stay tall. Nice.
Switch side leap.
Come on, Kim.
You can also really see her maturity in her movement.
Squeeze. Stand up.
Punch front.
Hard leg.
Here's her required full turn.
Hard and. Good job. Pull it up.
Right into a gainer layout.
Stay in it. Aggressive leap.
You hear the voice of her coach, Mary Lee Tracy.
And up.
She's giving her key words to think about. A lot of the times you just hear one word that encourages you for your body to do the right thing.
Round. Get it.
Tucked over back. A big dismount.
Look like the champ. You're so confident up there. Good job.
She does look confident, despite the layoff.
She's got to be happy now. Getting done with beam, being 3 for 3 so far, and floor is an event coming up next that she can really shine on. Here's that tumbling sequence. That handspring, back layout, just right on.
Here's another angle of that. Completely squared over the beam.
And that double tuck dismount brings it around just easily. Little hop on the end, but she's going to score very well in this routine.
Big. But I hear you, like in my head, like I can remember. I said it the whole time.
9.9 for Kim Zmeskal. And 29.50 after 3 rotations. Up next, Svetlana Bakhtina tied for 4th with Zmeskal after 2 rotations. And down she goes quickly on the mount.
And that's an example of somebody going for it and not paying off. It's a very risky mount. A lot of the gymnasts opt to do a simple mount just to get up on the beam. Another difficult combination. Handspring, punch front.
You know, it's so disheartening to miss the very first skill of a long balancing routine. She knows she can't get a great score now right from the start and just has to keep her poise now and finish strong.
Well, as we mentioned, this is her best event. She was the 3rd top qualifier on the beam in the individual apparatus competition at last year's World Championships with the Russian coaches. replaced her with another gymnast in the finals.
Aerial walkover, immediate stag jump. She moves very well. Look how pretty her arms move. She was having problems with this dismount in workouts. It's a very difficult one. Back handspring, double back. Same kind of problem. Really short landing. That's considered a fall.
I'll tell you, these are the two worst places to make mistakes. Right at the beginning, right when you start, and then to finish with a bad mistake as well. Just does not leave a very good impression with the judges.
Usually when you miss this mount, your hips or your shoulders, as you can see her left shoulder pulls her off. She just doesn't get enough punch off the beam to rotate. You can see how low she is.
Power is everything. She has the round off back handspring. It needs to just set her body higher up. She pulls off to the side a little bit too, makes it even more difficult, and just stumbles forward.
So an 8.80, and just like Dominique Dawes, that just about eliminates any hope Bakhtina had of winning this competition. Meanwhile, Amy Chow very much in it, in second place after 2 rotations.
And she's one of those types of gymnasts that you want up early in a competition as part of a team, like in Atlanta. Big combination, flip-flops, layout flip-flops. Jump immediate, back handspring, quarter turn handstand. Beginner layout. Hard to do that with straight legs like that. Nice full turn, immediate split jump.
Boy, really no mistakes whatsoever. She is right on in this routine.
She has good flexibility. She's done a lot of performing since the games in Atlanta. I think the experience has really helped her showmanship. Double twist dismount.
And you might remember Amy fell during the Olympic trials for Atlanta and hit her head. And she got back up and completed her routine, finished 4th at the trials, and that was well done.
And not a very difficult mount or dismount, but she puts her difficulty in the middle of the performance. There's her back handspring, back layout, back handspring. Here's her stag leap. Very difficult to catch the handstand position and not move. A lot of control.
Not as difficult as a tuck double back, but she does a layout with 2 twists.
How's Stanford going? Good. Okay.
You heard Dominique Dawes say how's Stanford going. She's not practicing and training as much anymore, but a 9.95, and Amy Chow keeps the pressure on Shannon Miller. Meanwhile, Shannon with her coach, Steve Duno.
You know, you only have a back handspring. So that's why. That was a nice dismount. Nice high left first. doubled and on the front. All right, you have plenty of time to wait, so just relax.
Shannon won the Olympic gold in '96, the silver in '92 on the beam, and she's up after this message and a word from your local station. Saying goodbye is never easy, especially if it's to the only life you've ever known.
I'm at the point in my life when I'm ready to be done with gymnastics, and I'll always love it, and it'll always be something that I really enjoyed, but I'm ready to start something new and start a new chapter in my life.
If the next chapter is anything like the rest of the book, it's sure to be a bestseller. She may never have been the best, but she was always the one with the most heart, the one who seemed to be having the most fun. In Atlanta, the U.S. coaches put her up first. They knew she'd set the tone for her teammates to follow. It paid off in gold.
It's just my life, and that part of my life is over, but it's been a great experience, and leaving all my friends and my family and my coach right here in this gym is going to be very tough, but I know that it's time, and I know that what I've learned here in this gym will help me be successful in my life, and I'm hoping that no matter what, I'll be able to come back here and know that I'm welcome at any time.
Well, she's given us so many great moments, and I know her teammates will miss her as well. Amanda Borden. And as we mentioned, she's going to Arizona State and attend college and will help coach the gymnastics team there. She was in 7th place after the second rotation.
She does a difficult front mount. Very well done. She has very crisp movements on this event. Back handspring, high layout. So far, no bobbles. No real deductions. There's a little bobble. It's only a very slight deduction. She doesn't quite have the difficulty, the jump combination. For the example, her back handspring layout, most of the gymnasts are tumbling out of that. I don't think she started it. Very weak dismount. Front handspring, tough front half.
And she really hasn't been putting in the training hours that many of her teammates have. She knows she's at the end of her career, and yet she still's been able to do good gymnastics. And I think it's a nice time for her to go out. Just great memories, and she's really been a really important figure in USA Gymnastics, so she shows all the kids out there just how much fun the sport is. A great personality. Here's that mount, done so well. As good as any other front flip's done today on the beam. Just right on, her shoulders just right. She also does another tuck front on the beam. Here it is. And once again, nice and square on the beam.
You can see her feet. She does a two-footed takeoff,
Mark, you run,
two-footed landing.
Bike. Did you hear I ran in a race? No, it took me extra.
Well, 9.55. The crowd thinks that perhaps the number should have been a little bit higher, but it will move Amanda Borden up in the standings. And our final competitor right there, Shannon Miller. She's in first place coming into this rotation. This is, of course, one of her best events. She's the reigning Olympic gold medalist.
Talk about somebody that has it all. She has all the difficulty, All the style, all the execution. Back handspring quarter turn to split handstand. She's getting ready here for her big tumbling. Back handspring, 2 layouts. Perfect.
I know winning that gold medal for her in Atlanta on the beam was so important, I think, to her career, and a great way to cap off an Olympic career. Though she hasn't shut the door, she might continue. And yet she finally got that individual gold medal that she so deserved after such a great career.
Good extension in her leaps. She just needs to land her dismount, double back. Little hop there. Almost perfect.
Well, Amy Chow happy for Shannon, but still looking to close the gap. She scored a 9.95 on the beam a little earlier.
Here's that tumbling sequence. It's a back handspring into 2 consecutive back layouts, and she's just right on. Difficult sequence to do. Keeps your shoulders high in the landing. Gives you an idea of how precarious it can be if the foot placement's wrong, but she was just right on it. Her dismount's a double back flip. Gets a good punch, good lift. Has to stumble forward a little bit because she just doesn't quite get her shoulders up. Has to take that hop. She'll score very well here, though.
For Shannon Miller, and that on the heels of 2 perfect 10s in the first 2 disciplines. So that will keep her in first place, and Amy Chow will remain in second, just behind, 0.15 of a point. Kim Zmeskal is third. We'll be back with more in a moment. Welcome back to this ERA Real Estate Championship Series event, day 1 of the Women's Professional Gymnastics Championship. The floor exercise is our final event. It's the last chance today for Dominique Dawes to recover from her disastrous beam routine. She stands in 7th place overall, a 2-time national champion in the floor exercise.
And she is spectacular on this event. Watch her combination tumbling. Dominique Moceanu, she does some very innovative front tumbling from a very early age. She's always had a strong presence on this event. Amy Chow has always had a lot of difficulty, a lot of exciting tumbling, but has always needed to work a little bit more on her presence, which she has done in the last couple of years. And of all the events Shannon Miller performs on, the floor exercise is her weakest, although it's hard to say that Shannon Miller has a weak event.
Hi, Chris. She wants to say hi, Chris. It's the new phone.
Sorry about that.
Well, other than that embarrassing moment, it has been an outstanding day for Shannon Miller. And first up on the floor exercise, Kim Zmeskal, currently in 3rd place, and that is really a big surprise because
First on the floor,
she trails Miller by only 0.9 of a point. And this is the first time since Barcelona that she'll perform all 4 disciplines in a single competition.
And she did not come here just to show up. She's in good shape. She's ready for this event. Here's her first pass. Look at that. Double layout. No problem.
Goes right into her 2nd tumbling pass. A piked double back. tremendous height.
Boy, she's really got a lot of energy now. She knows that she can get the crowd behind her. She can really show off the rest of this routine. What a start for a second career for Kim Zmeskal.
This is what this event is all about, getting the crowd into it. And maybe what was missing in her gymnastics before, she really looks like she wants to be here, and she's having a great time.
She's on her way to 4 solid routines. It's going to be a great day for her. Getting ready for tomorrow's competition. Here she goes. Good double tap. Wow.
That proves what great shape she's in, to be able to perform a tuck double back at the end of the set.
Zmeskal.
Well, certainly, Julianne, she's going to have to get some more difficulty overall to compete at the highest elite level. These are NCAA rules. She can get a higher score now without adding some of those skills. She'll probably have to add some more front tumbling passes and some more combinations, but this is a good start for her.
Well, another very satisfying routine for Kim Zmeskal.
And here's one pass where she does have world-class difficulty. Very difficult to rotate twice with an extended body.
Still a lot of power on the second tumbling pass, too. It's only a double pike, but she practically over-rotates. She has so much power. Very, very high. I think this is somewhat of a foreshadowing of what her potential really is. She could add twists. She could add a lot of different elements to her tumbling.
Boy, look at that smile. She is positively beaming.
Well, she knows the routine's over right here, so she's very happy with her performance today.
Here's the mark, 9.80, and that will keep Kim Zmeskal close to the top of the overall standings.
Next on the floor, Amy Chow.
Amy Chow is next in second place overall, heading into the floor exercise behind Shannon Miller. And if Amy Chow is lacking anything, it probably is in showmanship. That has been the one knock on Amy Chow.
I think that's the one thing that she has needed to work on. I think she has addressed that. We'll see in this routine, but if she can bring that up, then she'll definitely challenge Shannon and put the pressure on her.
But she is a strong tumbler, whipped through, she hiked full end. Stays in bounds. Her foot looks like it was right on the line, so that will not be a deduction.
Boy, I'll tell you, for someone who says she's not training very hard, she sure looks like she's in great shape. Really ready for this competition. Well, this presentation part, although not any difficult tumbling sequences, is very important for Amy to show off and to really show some personality in the floor routine.
She is very shy. I think that's been one of the reasons it's been harder for her to express herself. But through experience, she has definitely improved. Nice high double twist. A good finish.
Strong tumbling pass to end the routine, and that brings a huge ovation from this crowd here at the Tsongas Arena.
Well, I don't think there's any question that Amy's going to get a very good score here. She'll probably be way up there, close to the 10.0 mark. Certainly, the most important reason for that, I think, is her very strong tumbling. Although her last pass wasn't too difficult, her first two passes were very, very good. Here's that mount. It's a round off, a whip back, like a back handspring, but with no hands, into two back handsprings to a full twisting double pike back flip. And just about goes out of bounds, but I guess not quite. Next, she does a layout with 3 twists, and she just really has a handle on how to twist. She can really wrap her body, open up, see the ground just enough to land, makes it look effortless. And although the last pass isn't as difficult, just a double twist, she has enough, I think, under these rules to give her a very good score.
The score for Asia, 9.95.
The third 9.95 in a row for Amy Chow, who keeps the pressure on our leader, Shannon Miller. Shannon's on the floor when we return. Professional Gymnastics Championship, and now up on the floor, the leader after 3 events, Shannon Miller.
Her difficulty comes in her first pass. Full and back out, and she does step out of bounds.
And that'll be an automatic deduction for Shannon. So she can't get the 10s that she got earlier in the competition today.
She has more of a classical style.
Setting up for the next tumbling pass. More of a combination sequence. So round off, layout, half twist, punch front layout.
Takes a deep breath as she prepares for her last run. Front full, immediate pike front.
Unusual last tumbling pass, but still very difficult. That front full to a pike front. The front combinations are becoming more popular right now in floor exercise for both men and women.
I personally don't really like them. I don't think they're as exciting to watch as the backward tumbling combinations.
But they're still able to get those extra bonus points, which are so critical to getting the higher scores. And so that's why we see more of them. And here's that round off, back handspring, full twisting, double back flip. Full in, back out, but look at the foot go out of bounds, automatic deduction.
1/10 of a point for each foot out. So that will be 1/10 plus the big step backwards. Front with a full twist, immediate pike front, a little knee bend.
So the best score that Shannon Miller can receive is a 9.90. And that is what she gets, a 9.90, and that will keep Shannon Miller in first place. But Amy Chow makes up a little ground, currently in second place after day one's final event, a 1/10 of a point behind. And now up, Dominique Mosciano in fourth place after 3 rotations.
She has a great first run. Whip right through 2.5 twists, immediate punch front.
Well, I'll tell you, this is the one event where I think this growth spurt that she's gone through has really helped her quite a bit. She has more power on floor, more powerful. It makes a big difference in her tumbling.
And it also makes all her movements look bigger. Whip through to pike double back, short on the landing.
I think her performance also has become more mature, and this growth has helped her from that standpoint too, Julianne.
She's always had a really good style, but it's just more developed and polished now.
Get ready for the last pass. Here she goes. Round off, back handspring, double full, not too difficult for the last pass. But she also knows that she can't get a great score based on that mistake on the earlier tumbling pass, that double pike that she landed short on.
She does have a great start, though. There's that whip back. She does 2.5 twists, immediate punch front. Very hard.
Here's where she got into trouble. She did that round-off whip right into a double pike, but just did not quite get herself around. And watch, just lands short, puts her hands forward, takes the big deduction. Just can't get it around.
So the score for Dominique Moceanu, 9.7. Disappointing, but good enough to keep her in 4th place behind Kim Zmeskal. When we return to Lowell, Massachusetts, the final performance of day 1, Dominique Dawes. Lowell, Massachusetts, in the ERA Real Estate Women's Professional Gymnastics Championship. There's our final competitor of the day, Dominique Dawes, in 7th place coming into this last rotation.
She has a lot of pride in her performances. She can't catch up to first, but you can bet she's going to go all out here.
And the exciting thing about Dominique is she's so talented, you never know which tumbling run she's going to do. She warmed up 2.5 twists, immediate punch front. She almost sits it down. That was a triple turn.
For her last pass, catch her breath, do some dance skills and help her to get some more oxygen in the lungs before that final pass. And double pike, very difficult to do at the end. Almost lost her footing on the landing. Good job.
Dominique Dawes, the first American to receive all 5 gold medals.
Seems like she was having a little bit of problem with her foot placement on a couple of these passes. She gets good height here on her 2.5 twists, but goes crooked on her punch and is really lucky to hold on to that.
And same thing with her last pass, this double pike. She comes around, watch her right foot just slip under her footing, but no problem. She's able to pull it off.
Score for Dominique Dawes, 9.85, so a good way to end what had to be a disappointing day for Dominique Dawes. And a hug from Steve Nuno, her coach. The congratulations going to Shannon Miller, our leader after day 1 of the competition. 2 perfect 10s. So here's a look at the overall standings. Miller, then Amy Chow, and the big surprise, Kim Zmeskal in third place at 39.30, and she's with Andrea Joyce.
Kim, a very solid first day of competition. How much of a psychological lift does that give you?
This is, like, amazing to me. Like, I haven't done all 4 events since the Olympics in '92, so I'm just on a high that I could put 4 together, and, you know, I felt really consistent about it.
And how about this crowd? How much did you miss that, getting such a warm response?
I was just saying before, I'm like, you know, I don't know. Like, beforehand, I feel like I'm about to throw up or, you know, get sick, but once I'm out there, everybody makes me feel so comfortable, and I just love being out there.
Well, we loved seeing you. Congratulations.
Be sure to join us tomorrow for the CBS Sports Spectacular beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern. We'll be right back here in Lowell for the final day of the ERA Real Estate Women's Professional Gymnastics. Up next, the CBS Sports Spectacular continues from Reno, Nevada. It's PBA Bowling, the American Bowling Congress Masters. Day 1 from the Women's Professional Gymnastics Championship. There were some surprises. We saw perfection, a little disappointment, and tomorrow, day 2, and a champion will be crowned. So for Andrea Joyce, Julianne McNamara, and Peter Vidmar, this is Bill McAtee saying so long from Lowell. We'll see you again tomorrow.